Good morning, boys and girls and friends who are watching with you. You found your way back to our video series at our wit's end. I am Grandpa Ken, and I am glad you're here to learn some more about the theme of God and the animals. Last week we talked about God and the animals in our backyard, and I told you about all the missing birds that may have been killed by a pesticide we put on the golf courses and other places to kill off these insects called cicadas. Turns out that wasn't such a good idea. We need to do a much better job taking care of all the animals and plants and all of God's creation. And I suggested that you might want to have a family meeting and talk about how you can help the animals the best ways. Okay, well, today we're on the front porch, and there's a special reason for that. I always gather with my Bible and my devotional book on this front porch almost every morning of the year, except when it's extremely cold, because I love being out in the creation when I'm reading the Bible or talking to God in my prayers. Yesterday I had finished my prayer time, and I had been looking at the hummingbirds. Some strange things were going on the front porch last week. All of these hummingbirds were trying to go to the feeder that's over there, and there were these bees, and they were chasing the hummingbirds away. And the hummingbirds were diving, and the bees were diving after them. It was quite an interesting sight and a topic for another conversation. But after I'd finished my quiet time, my wife, Kathy, came outside, and she was carrying a jar, a lot like this one, except she'd already taken the top off of it. Now, in this jar, there are some plants. They're called milkweed, and that's the only food that the caterpillars like that are going to become monarch butterflies. So Kathy had seen that one of her caterpillars had built a chrysalis and then had been transformed into a butterfly. And she carried it out on top of the jar lid. And if you look at the photos in my newsletter, you will see a picture of the monarch butterfly that Kathy was carrying and the flower that's over on the other side of the driveway that she placed the monarch butterfly when it was ready to fly. But if you notice, when the butterfly is sitting on top of the can lid, its wings are drooping, and it's not ready to fly yet because the wings are still wet and heavy after coming out of the chrysalis and the butterfly born beautifully into the world. So Kathy was very, very, very careful with the butterfly until it was ready to be alone on the flower and then eventually fly away. Well, this isn't the first time we've released butterflies. The last time we did it, my grandchildren, McKenna and Maxton, were here. And we not only released the butterflies that they had taken care of while they were still caterpillars and chrysalises, but we also put some topsoil that we had been making together, and we put that topsoil and mixed it in with the soil on the little garden where we grow milkweed, so that the monarch butterflies, before they become butterflies, have something to eat. That is one of the ways that we help take care of the insects in the creation that God has made, and God has asked us to take care of the entire creation. Now, you probably remember that I've told you that we have not been doing a very good job of that. Some of the animals and plants and insects have already disappeared from the earth. That's called extinction. And many more will disappear. But some of that damage, we, you and I, your family, my family, we can prevent some of that damage. If we love God, then we love God's creation, and that creation loves us back. And it's the way we're supposed to live on this planet called Earth. Well, boys and girls, I am going to be talking about God and the animals for a few more weeks, so I hope you'll tune back in next week for our video series at our wit's end. And remember, this week, make sure to have fun each and every day, and you will find hope and you will find ways to be a loving person in God's world. Thank you for joining us at Wits End today.